guys, this is Miss Ashby from Lakeview, and today I want to be talking to you guys about making different connections. So, good readers, when we read, we like to think inside of our brains and make connections with what we're reading, and that helps us better understand with our comprehension. So, today we're going to read a book together, but before we do that, I want to talk to you about the 3 different kinds of connections that you might be able to make with a story. So, the first one is called text to text. And this is where the reader makes a connection about a character, setting, or event from one story to another. So if you make this kind of connection when you read, you might think to yourself, okay, this reminds me of something else that I read. The second connection that we have is called text to self. So this connection is where the reader makes a connection about a character, setting, or event to something that's happened in their life or something that they have experienced. So while we're reading and we make a text to self connection, you might think, this reminds me of a time that I did this. Or when this happened to me. All right, and the third type of connection is called text to world. So this is where the reader makes a connection about a character, setting, or event that has happened already in the past or is happening in the world right now. So we may say to ourselves, this reminds me of something that happened a long time ago, or this reminds me of something that's going on right now in the world. So now I'm going to show you today how we can use this strategy when we're reading. Normally when I'm reading, I would think to myself in my brain, but I want to show you how to do it. So once I make a connection, I'm going to stop reading and we're going to talk about it. And I want you to see if you can help me decide what type of connection that I'm making. Okay, so I'm going to read you one of my favorite books. It's called Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. The author is Patti LaBelle and the illustrator is David Catra. Molly Lou Melon stood just taller than her dog and was the shortest girl in first grade. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, walk as proudly as you can and the world will look up to you. All right, so right off the bat, Miss Ashby has a connection. And this reminds me that I'm short too. Miss Ashby's not very tall, so I'm short. So what kind of connection would that be? If Molly is short, and it makes me think of how I'm short too, that would be a text to self connection because it's something about me or my life. So she did. Molly Lou Melon had buck teeth that stuck out so far she could stack pennies on them. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, smile big and the world will smile right alongside you. So she did. Molly Lou Melon had a voice that sounded like a bullfrog being squeezed by a boa constrictor. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, sing out clear and strong, and the world will cry tears of joy. So she did. Molly Lou Melon was often fumble-fingered. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, believe in yourself and the world will believe in you too. So she did. Then Molly Lou Melon moved to a new town. She had to say goodbye to her grandma and all of her friends. And start in a new school. All right, so I'm going to stop there because I have another connection I need you to help me with. So, Molly Lou Melon had to go to a new town and start a new school. When Miss Ashby was in second grade, she had to move to a new town and start in a new school as well. So that's what it reminds me of. So what kind of connection would that be? That would be text to self because it's about my life and my personal experience. On the first day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Shrimpo in gym class. When the game started, Molly Lou Melon caught the football, ran under the legs of Ronald Durkin, and scored a touchdown. All the children thought, "Wow, she's good." And Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. On the second day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Bucky Tooth Beaver. Molly Lou Melon took out her pennies, stacked 10 high on her teeth, and smiled as big as day. All the children smiled with glee, and Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. All right, I'm going to stop here because I have another connection. So this is reminding me of something else that I've read before. Have you ever read the story called The Recess Queen? That's about a girl who is a bully on the playground. And I kind of feel like Ronald Durkin is being a bully. And he reminds me of the character from The Recess Queen. So that would be a text-to-text connection because it reminds me of another book that I've read before. On the third day of school, Ronald Durkin said, "You sound like a sick duck. Honk, honk." Molly Lou Melon sang out, "Quack," so clear and strong that it made Ronald Durkin somersault backwards, hit his head, and have to go to the nurse. All the children cried with joy to be free from Ronald Durkin for the rest of the afternoon. And Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. All right, I'm going to stop here again. So we said that Ronald Durkin is kind of a bully, okay? So this is making me think about something that's going on in the world right now. Because a lot of times you hear that there's a lot of bullying going on at school, and it makes me really sad. But that would be a text to world connection because it's something that's going on in our world right now. On the fourth day of school, Ronald Durkin said that she'd make a snowflake all wrong. But Molly Lou Melon opened up her paper and revealed the most beautiful snowflake of all. All the children oohed and ahed, even Ronald. On the fifth day of school, Ronald Durkin brought Molly Lou Melon a stacking penny for her tooth and smiled at her. That night, Molly Lou Melon took out a pencil and paper and wrote a letter to her grandma. "Dear Grandma, I wanted to tell you that everything you told me was exactly right. Love, Molly Lou Melon." So this is my favorite book because I can make lots of connections with this book, but it also teaches us how to stay true to ourselves and don't let anyone try to change you or make you be something different. Okay, so we got to make all three connections in this story today. You might not always make all three connections. Sometimes you might only make one or two, but we got lucky in this story where we got to make all three. Okay, so thank you guys so much for making connections with me today. In your modules, you're going to have lots of different stories to listen to, and you guys are going to get to make your own connections. And I cannot wait to hear what the different connections that you guys come up with. Okay, stay safe. Bye, guys.